Geopolitics with Shikuru. We're the future.
Hello everyone, this is Geopolitics. We thank you for joining us first and for listening to us. This video is dedicated to the drone incidents, which is like panicking the whole Europe right now. The situation has been, it started first in Denmark, with the drones attacking the Copenhagen airport, and then they went to Norway, Oslo airport, and now it's Munich in Germany, which was attacked. My question is this: who is behind this drone attack? If you want to know more about the drone attacks, listen to this video to the end. But remember to subscribe to and like, share too, because this is a new channel and we are trying to learn things and use them and share with our viewers, and also to inspire other people to do innovations and do great things like these ones I'm doing here, creating videos, informative videos, information about different stations around the world, things like that. So first of all, here's what happened in Munich. I have gone to Germany to watch a TV, DW, German TV, which explains well what is going on and what happened. Here's the video.
Germany's Munich Airport has restarted flights after drone sightings forced air traffic control to suspend operations on Thursday evening. More than 30 flights were canceled or diverted, leaving thousands of passengers stranded. German authorities have launched an investigation to identify the origins of the drones. It's the latest in a string of similar incidents across Europe. Airports in Denmark, Norway, and Poland recently suspended flights due to unidentified drones. European authorities have expressed concerns.
As we have listened to the video of the incident which happened in Germany today, so now our question is, who is behind this? The authorities in Denmark, when the incident happened at the airport, they did an investigation. Then they found out that these drones, the person who might be behind these drones is a professional. That's what they had as conclusion. They said this person might be a professional. And then here's the video which explains. I have taken a video on Sky News of England, which explains what the Danish found out. Here's the video. I'm taking the videos because I don't have evidence, so I'm taking the videos from these TV networks in order to show them to my viewers so that they can explain them well. They are the ones who have talked to experts and they are in Europe, so they know the situation better than we do. So we are trying to join these videos together and found out who is behind this drone attack and who might be behind them. So we are looking for a solution and the actor in this drone incident. So here's the video.
I'll bring you an update to that story of the drones that have been spotted over Aalborg Airport. The Danish Justice Minister, Peter Hummelgaard, has in the last few minutes commented on this and has said, without saying specifically who has done this, that there is no doubt that this is done by a professional actor. Remember, it's the second time that Denmark has faced drones around a major airport this week. Copenhagen Airport was also closed for a few hours after drones were spotted there. The defense minister has said there's no direct military threat against Denmark, but they also will be starting to look at acquiring capabilities to detect and neutralize drones as Denmark look to try and respond to this latest incursion into their airspace. The Justice Minister also saying the threat of hybrid attacks is here to stay. So still not quite getting to the point where Denmark are apportioning blame for this event.
So as now we have seen the video, so now let's see the question is now, who is behind these drone attacks or these drone incursions? First of all, I have a video I've taken from DW. They have interviewed Vladimir Zelensky. He pointed the finger to Moscow. They also interviewed so many people. They even captured the Russian vessel or ship that they believed was behind these attacks, but they are not sure. Now they have left it. They have released the ship, so they are not sure yet who did it. And here are the videos which explain well about who is behind these drone incursions. So listen to them carefully, and then to your conclusion or to your thoughts, you're going to conclude whether the person they are saying is the one who is behind, or they are other actors that are unknown who might be behind these drone incursions. So here are the videos.
Was forced to close several airports after what it called a coordinated attack by drones. The big question is, who is responsible? Well, now French forces have seized a tanker suspected of being part of Russia's shadow fleet used to illegally transport Russian oil. Maritime tracking data shows that the tanker was off the coast of Denmark at the time of the drone flights. French authorities have not yet said whether the ship is suspected of being involved in the drone incursions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has blamed Russia for the spike in drone activity and is calling on European countries to take action.
There is now intelligence that indicates the Russians are using tankers to launch and operate drones against European countries. This is yet more evidence why the Baltic Sea and other seas must be closed to Russian tankers, at the very least to the Shadow Fleet.
We are in a confrontation with Russia, which for several years has been a very aggressive actor in our informational space. We have seen it in the context of elections and elsewhere, multiplying cyber attacks, launching a war of aggression in Ukraine, using nuclear threats, and now, as we clearly see, provoking in aerial spaces.
We are facing a lot of problems with the Shadow Fleet, and that has been the case especially in the Baltic Sea for quite a long time, and we are working very closely together to battle this situation.
And our correspondent Terry Schultz, she joins me now from Brussels. Terry, you have been covering the risk posed by Russia's Shadow Fleet for years, and now it appears that these decrepit oil tankers may not just be helping Moscow earn illicit funds through selling oil below the internationally agreed price level, but they may also be helping launch drones into NATO and EU airspace. I mean, what more do we know about this?
That's right, Brent. I mean, we've talked about these Shadow Fleet vessels many times. They're shipping Russian crude, earning as much as perhaps a third of Russia's funds that go toward the war in Ukraine. Through this practice, they are also somehow in the area when these anchors drop. It's usually from these vessels and dragging them across cables. They're accused of being used for spying, and now, just in the latest development, it is believed that one of these ships, these Shadow Fleet tankers, may have been used to launch at least some of the drones that we saw over Denmark last week. And that's because a tanker now seized by France was seen off the Danish coast during the time that some of these drones were launched. And so now the French Navy has boarded this ship in what I understand is a first for these purposes. And they are looking into where this ship was, what it was doing, what its flight path was. Of course, when they investigate, they're looking at, its documents. Many of these don't have proper insurance. They're flagged from countries where you can't really find an office. So there are usually all kinds of infractions that these ships have. If they are now also helping to launch drones, it's going to focus again on just how dangerous they are for European countries and how helpful they are to Moscow.
When you look at pictures of a tanker too, I mean, it certainly has the perfect surface area. If you wanted to launch a drone, it would be ideal.
Yeah.
Do we know what measures European leaders are looking at to combat Russia's shadow fleet?
Well, just the fact that the French Navy has boarded this ship shows that more aggressive tactics are being used. Remember, last year around Christmas, for the first time, Finland seized one of these ships after it had dragged its anchor over some cables, some very important cables. Sweden has since boarded some of the ships for the same reason, after they supposedly accidentally dropped their anchors and damaged cables. So I think that we definitely are seeing more physical tactics being used to help stop the tankers. Now, at the same time, the European Union has imposed sanctions on increasing numbers of these tankers. Hundreds of them are now under sanctions by both the EU and the UK, and these measures are supposed to stop the ships from being allowed to sail. It doesn't always work because basically Russia doesn't care that these ships are on the sanctions list, but certainly I think that if they are proven to help launch drones now, something that absolutely sparked a lot of panic in Denmark, including in the Danish government, I think that you'll see even more aggressive tactics being used. We have seen in Sweden, Brent, that they are starting to stop these ships and ask to see their papers. And that is a way that you could also take some of them out of the water.
Happened is that France detained the vessel on suspicion of major deficiencies on that vessel, and then investigated or examined the vessel, and there were no major deficiencies that would allow France to keep it in detention, and it was allowed to sail on. The French authorities haven't really said anything yet about the reason why it was allowed to sail on, but that is most likely the reason.
Now, this has been described as, of course, a sanctions-busting fleet. You did detail that in your first response. Given rhetoric from most of Western Europe about Russia, not only about its war in Ukraine, but increasingly the threat that many are saying it represents to EU countries directly, it's rather surprising that this fleet exists and is able to circulate in European waters. I mean, the United States, for example, has very strict sanctions regulations that make it very difficult for people to counter its sanctions. So how or why is this allowed in the European Union?
Well, it's European Union countries. European countries like the United States try to follow international rules. Now, European countries have signed something that's called UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, which governs the world's oceans. And if you have signed that treaty, the United States has not joined that treaty, but European countries have, then you have to abide by the rules. And those rules include allowing vessels to sail wherever they like, as long as it's something called innocent passage, meaning they sail through those waters, they don't park themselves there. And that is the reason that the shadow vessels are allowed to sail through the Baltic Sea on their way to their final destinations, which are usually India and China. And European countries, European governments keep facing calls for, to detain these vessels, to essentially ban them from the Baltic Sea. You cannot do that if you're a law-abiding country, and that is the dilemma for European countries today. They see these vessels that violate maritime rules on a daily basis, but yet they themselves have to abide by maritime rules because that's what respectable countries do.
Now, one of the concerns or suspicions is that some of those mysterious drones that have been sighted in European countries, notably in Denmark, in addition to Germany and Norway, could have been launched from this fleet. How likely do you think that is? And why is it so difficult, more generally speaking, to determine these ships' activities, be it launching drones or even sending divers to cut cables, as has also been suspected?
So regarding the drones at Copenhagen Airport, we don't know yet from where they were launched, but they have to have been launched from somewhere. So that is one of the working theories that the Danish authorities are exploring, are investigating. we may never find out from where those drones were launched, but what is beyond dispute, or what has been firmly established, is that some of these shadow vessels don't just transport Russian oil; they essentially dual use. They conduct other activities as well. For example, conducting surveillance as they sail through the Danish Straits, or generally through the Baltic Sea. And as I think your viewers would be aware, several of them have also been suspected of cutting cables in the Baltic Sea. Now, the way that those cables have been cut is that the respective vessels have dragged their anchor behind them. And you can argue, you can claim in your defense, if you're one of the crew members of one of these vessels, that you didn't know that you were dragging the anchor, because you can say it just fell out, which is the defense that all these vessels, crews, have used. And a trial against such a crew completely concluded today, as it happens in Helsinki. So these vessels are up to no good either way. They transport oil in violation of sanctions. They don't follow maritime rules. And they can also add to their subversive activities, for example, by harming undersea cables.
Elizabeth Broad.
So, as you have heard, and as you have seen the videos yourself of the journalists, but also the experts and some European leaders who were talking about this drone incident, as it seems, they haven't found yet the perpetrator or the actor in this matter. They are still looking for the actor. They're still looking for the person who might be behind these drone incidents, but they haven't yet found the actor yet. They're still looking for the actor. So it's not clear yet who is behind them. But all fingers are pointing to, not all fingers, but some fingers, majority of the fingers are pointing to Russia. So that is what is happening. But they don't have evidence yet whether it's Russia who is behind these drone incursions. So, thank you everybody for listening to Geopolitics. I'm Shukuru. Thank you for listening to us. Remember to share, to subscribe, but also to comment if you have something to talk about the videos, and if you have a suggestion, a topic that you would like us to talk about. We are happy to get your views and also your reactions, but also your suggestions. Thank you. This is for us, the youth, but also for the people who are inspired by the future, because we are the future. People who want to change the future and do great things like these ones and more than these ones. So remember to share, to subscribe, but also to share your views and interesting things about the world. Thank you everybody. We are the future.